showing out, making moves, no doubt. FFA pride, it's what we're all about. From classroom dreams to real world flair, we got the stories you won't find anywhere. Beyond the jacket where the stories unfold, voices of the future, fearless and bold. Tune in now, let the passion ignite. It's more than a jacket, it's a way of life. Beyond the jacket where passion meets purpose.
Welcome back to Beyond the Jacket. Behind every strong FFA chapter is an educator who believes in their students long before they believe in themselves. Today, we're sitting down with someone who represents the heart of agricultural education, the 2025 Iowa FFA Golden Owl Award winner. This award recognizes excellence, dedication, and lasting impact in the classroom and beyond. We're so excited to go beyond the jacket and hear her story today. Welcome on to the podcast, Miss Laura. Go ahead and introduce yourself to us listeners.
Hi, so my name is Laura Brecht. I am an ag teacher at Cedar Rapids Prairie High School in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I'm in my 6th year teaching, and I was recently awarded the Iowa Golden Owl Award at the 2025 Iowa FFA Convention.
We're so excited to have you on today. Lacey and I are super excited to learn about the award further because we're not from Iowa. Can you tell us where your journey in agriculture began?
I think everything kind of goes back to home, right? So I'm from Columbus Junction, Iowa, a small town in southeast Iowa, and I grew up on just an acreage where I raised sheep, and we had broiler chickens for the county fair, but my parents both grew up in agriculture and supported me and my dreams and desires to, I guess, connect with the industry. So I started in just growing up, being outside, working with my dad. And then as I got into school, joined 4-H and was really active in 4-H in the Wise County Fair. And then in high school, my journey in FFA began, and then things just kind of skyrocketed from there. So I really credit just home as my beginning. My parents really introduced me to agriculture and the things that were possible, I guess, and then also supported me along my way as I found more and more organizations and people to enjoy, I guess, and learn about agriculture and the industry as a whole.
That's so cool. I love when people have that very innocent background of well, it just kind of made sense because of everything else. I kind of had a similar way of going into FFA. I was in 4-H first, big cattle girl growing up, and then realized just how many opportunities the FFA did actually have. I do want to know, was there a point or when did you realize I think I want to become the advisor? Because I feel like that is a path for so many different FFA kids, whether it's a past advisor who just inspired them or honestly wanting to get to go back when you end up aging out. So when was that for you?
This is kind of, I think, a funny story. I grew up in a family of teachers. So my mom was a family and consumer science teacher. My grandma was a teacher. All my aunts were teachers. My sister's a teacher. My sister-in-law is a teacher. When I was little, my grandma, I made her make me a skirt that looked like my 2nd grade teacher, and I'd come home or I'd go to her house after school and play school. And so ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to be a teacher. And then I got in high school and I learned about more and more opportunities within the ag industry. And I was I'm going to be a dietitian. I really loved food and cooking and understanding new things. And then I went on my visit. I loved Iowa State, absolutely hated dietetics. I cannot do this. And then I loved people. That's what drew me into the agriculture industry so much, was I loved connecting with people and talking to people and planning events. So I planned and I started at Iowa State in ag communications. And through my time at Iowa State, I was a ambassador for the College of Ag. And part of my role with that was I had to go visit high school students and promote the College of Ag and opportunities at Iowa State within our college. And one high school visit over Christmas break. I was in a classroom full of high school students, and a former advisor, she wasn't my advisor, but in my district I went to visit. She just encouraged me, and I could just feel in that moment that that's where I was meant to be. So came back from winter break, switched my major, and here I am 6 years later teaching, and don't regret a minute of that. But just, it's really funny how everything kind of falls into place how it's supposed to be. But I had all these teachers in my life, and my mom was like, at that time, education's always changing and it's hard, but she's like, you don't need to be a teacher. Like, there's so many other options. And I was set I wasn't going to be a teacher, and it didn't last long. So
Yeah, that family pull is hard, and I'm glad you found your niche. I've actually, on our off time from the podcast today, I've also been applying to be a College of Agriculture ambassador here in the University of Florida. So that's a little fun tidbit. I'm excited to have that experience as well. Who knows, maybe I'll end up taking the education track as well. Out of all of those teachers in your life, though, is there one specific mentor, maybe that ag teacher you went back and visited, or maybe someone in your family that really sparked your interest or maybe helped shape the educator you are today?
yeah. So as I had a unique experience. I couldn't start ag until I was in high school, so my freshman year. And then in my 4 years of high school ag education, I had 3 different ag teachers. So it was a lot of like inconsistency, but a constant was I had teachers that cared. And so I think my very first teacher was my freshman and sophomore year. At the time, it was Julia Townsley. Now she's married and has her own family, so Miss Diekman. But she encouraged me to apply to be an officer. That was like, I think, the thing that turned on the switch for me. My freshman year, I did the traditional like conduct of meetings, and I was ready to drink the Kool-Aid when I got to go to the conferences and just connect with other people. Like, that was my biggest takeaway from FFA, was getting to meet other people and having her provide opportunities for me to do that was huge. And so I just like participating in contests, like she encouraged us to do that. She encouraged me to apply to be an officer. When there were other more qualified upperclassmen, she's like, you should do it. And that made me even more confident in myself and my abilities, and led me to be a 3-year officer. So that was fun. And then she encouraged me to participate in the World Food Prize. And I didn't take advantage of it right away. And then I did as a junior and senior. And I wish, now I tell my students, listen to your ag teacher. They know what they're talking about, because that was an experience I wish I would have had earlier, but was grateful that I did take advantage of it eventually. And then my senior year, Danielle Wanfault was just really, she was a goer. We were getting stuff done, and she was a really good connector and allowed a lot of community partners to come in and help get us better at contests or our class activities. And I try to model that in our classes of I'm not the expert, but I can be a good connector to get the experts here to help the students get better. So lots of people on my path, but that was my high school experience that really shaped me, or helped create some core experiences that I will always credit or remember. And now I get to continue that, or hopefully make some of those experiences or memories for my students as well.
I feel like you definitely have been able to be able to accept this Golden Owl Award. So I think we need to segue into that, because I don't feel like you get to get something like that from just kind of being the run-of-the-mill everyday ag teacher. I feel like you've got to be able to be one of those good advisors that just pushes their kids, but in a positive way. So what was going through your mind when you found out that you were a recipient for that award?
I laughed when I first, I did laugh. I was so surprised, and I have to tell the story of how they got me over there. So how Iowa structures it is each district representative gets announced first. So like it was a complete shock. And it happened here at Prairie. The students and administrators like worked together to plan this elaborate like surprise. And man, I was surprised. But my chapter office president, he was working, even like preempting this the day before. He came in and was like, man, Mrs. Brecht, I really need to go home and work on my Kirkwood class that I'm failing. Like, it's really bad. Like, oh my gosh. And mind you, at this time I had a student teacher. So a lot of my days were like prepping, working on other things, just off in the corner and letting my student teacher teach. And so the next day, I'm in class. It's my last block of students, and I get a phone call from my principal, and he's like, Laura, you really need to come over here right now. Ann is here, student's parent. She's really concerned about his Kirkwood grade, and this is really bad. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what did this kid do? Like, did he resort to like academic dishonesty? He's running for state office. Did he just like blow this experience for this one Kirkwood class? Like, what are we going to do? Threw my coat on, ran to the high school. Like, I was ticked, like so mad at this kid. And I get in there, they're waiting for me at the entrance. They're like, let's go into the theater so there's not as many people around. And I'm like, my heart is racing. I'm like, he's on lockdown. He can't do any FFA stuff until he gets his grade up. Like, it's going to be okay. I hope, like, what else is happening? And then we open the door, and I was thinking, like, our theater is used for classes sometimes, like if kids are giving speeches, and I see there's just a bunch of people in there. I was like, oh, we can't go in there. There's a ton of people. My principal's right behind me, and he just pushes me in. And then if we'll have to find the pictures, but if you do, I walk in and I see the Golden Owl, the Iowa FFA Foundation banner, and I just start crying. Like, I instantly knew what it was. They tricked me. They really, really tricked me. And I just instantly felt a moment of like gratitude and appreciation and just like honor, but also relief. There's our bell. Because I wasn't, like actually wasn't failing his Kirkwood class, but it was just such a nice event, and they really surprised me. So
That's so special. Being able to be genuinely and authentically surprised is awesome. And then the fact that your officers and your administration supported you through that process and worked together to surprise you, I think is so special and adds to that meaning of the award. Professionally and personally, I know it must have been a huge honor. Looking back on it now that you know it's real, it's no longer a pinch me moment, what did that mean to you?
I guess I was just so honored. Like, as a educator, we spend so much time and so much of our own like resources and energy pouring into other students. I felt like my cup was filled tenfold after that experience. But one of the best parts of being nominated is every nomination you get a card with each person that nominated you, and you get to read exactly what they said about you. So it was really fun to go back and look at what impact you had on students, and especially like or family members, community members that maybe you have connections with, but you had a bigger impact, or you had a different impact than what you initially maybe intended. So that was really, really fun. I thought it was also very special. So my sister was awarded the 2024-25 like Iowa Teacher of the Year, and then I was awarded the 2025 Golden Owl roughly at the same time. So we were both honored as like best or greatest, I don't know, teachers in the state. So that was just really special. And my mom, as a former teacher, was very, very proud. So a lot of special parts to that day and year, I guess.
Dang, Christmas must have been great for you guys to just walk around like, yeah, sorry, this is two of the best educators in the state that you're getting to have Christmas dinner with. So everybody, please recognize. For you, what does the Golden Owl Award represent about agricultural education as a whole? Like, what does it really just embody for you?
I would say it's like the top tier of teachers, and once you're there, it's not like you're going to be stagnant or stay there. But I felt like once I reached this achievement, I felt like now I have to continue to grow and continue to help like lift up other teachers in our district, in our state, whether it's helping like lead different workshops or events within our like state association and conference and all of that. But I really think that it's a way to recognize the work that ag teachers are doing already, but then to celebrate our teachers that are doing great things. And it's not, I was just part of the committee that gets to select the next one. And so it was just truly honoring to like be able to read and see the impact that ag teachers are making in their communities and support the work that they're doing.
No pressure, right? That's a big goal to have and a huge achievement, and then being able to select the next one. And I'm sure all of the requirements and things that come along with this award, it's the next stepping stone. It's ways to get better. It's that encouragement that you might be at the pinnacle, but it's time to keep climbing again. And it reinforces like your work is paying off and your students are benefiting from your job. I know my ag teacher, we were very close and I was very fortunate to have her in my life. She has now switched careers. She ended teaching when I ended high school. So we kind of got to finish out together, and I never truly realized her workload and everything her job required. It wasn't your typical 8 to 4 o'clock school day, or I'm not quite sure what your school day is. But anyway, it's not like a typical English teacher or math teacher. Your time goes way beyond the time that bell rings, and you spend your weekends, and you might not always be with your family or so on and so forth. What's something you think that everyone outside of agriculture education needs to understand about being a teacher in agriculture education?
Oh, wow. I definitely think that people have to remember like we're people too. And there's so many ideas and so many things that you can do, but you have to do like the ag teacher and the program has to do what makes sense for the program and the students that are involved in that program. I remember when I started my job here at Prairie, I had just moved back after 2 years teaching in a very like rural school district in Northwest Iowa. And coming back, it was a lot larger school district, newer program, so a lot more to do. And I knew that like I had a plan that I am going to retire from Prairie High School if all things go as planned, right? And in order for that to happen, I can't burn myself out in the first 2 years of being here. And I think having community support or someone that doesn't know what the day-to-day of the ag teacher life actually looks like, just having someone that's supportive of what is the goal of the program and what is the goal of what the teacher and students need in this space. Not necessarily what do we want them to do, but like what do we need them to do to meet the needs of our students in our community. But I think that's a really good question or thing to ask, just because there's so many people with ideas and then it's like they don't know what it looks like of everything else we need to do. Like I can't just be FFA, I can't just be SAE, I can't just be a classroom teacher. Like I have to be all three of them. or all three components to have a successful program, and it all takes time and energy. And I also have a family, have my own like farm operation, have my own life and hobbies kind of outside of school. So how do you find that balance that works?
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, actually, because I think Paige really brought up that I don't think people realize, especially I know when I was an FFA, I didn't realize how much went into being an FFA advisor. Because just like you said, it is like 3 teachers in one, because you're handling the in-class, like actually teaching a course that everybody does, having their workbook of what we're going to do throughout the semester. But you also have competitions on the weekends and you're dealing with your advisor team. So have you found a good balance to avoid burnout? Or maybe you could give some inspiring advice to some young teachers who might be like, oh crap, am I taking on more than I can chew?
I would say I'm learning, like, again, every season every season of life is different as well. So like when I first started, I worked a lot. My husband was in a in a training role, and he was working a lot too. I didn't have any kids. So it was like, this is what I can spend my time doing. There's so many bells today. I also think that it's okay that it changes in your season. So I'm the district advisor this year for our Southeast district. So I have to spend more time doing my responsibilities and for the district. And my chapter doesn't see me quite as much, or my contests aren't as primed as they would have been compared to past years when I didn't have that responsibility. So it's just like an ebb and flow of what does my focus have to be this year. I still have my standard of we have to do these things to their full advantage or full potential. But some other things, it's this is what we have time to complete. We're still going to have a quality product, but it's not maybe to the extent or to the amount of things that we would have had in the past.
I was just going to ask, with all of those responsibilities, and that's such a valuable piece of advice about depending on your season, depends on what you can put your all into and maybe step back from. That's even a valuable piece of advice for me in college, or really anyone listening on the podcast today, is if you can't put your all into everything, quality is better than quantity. That's something I have to remind myself too. But at the beginning of your episode, I want to circle way back to the beginning. You said you had an ag teacher really invest in you when there was other students who might have been more qualified. I know for me that happened as well, and I was really thankful that somebody took to find the diamond in the rough. Not that I was the diamond, but somebody took the time to invest in me and maybe give me a little additional confidence from time to time. How do you encourage your students to do that, or step into new roles they might not have been comfortable with or confident enough to try on their own?
Yeah, I think I definitely see this a lot more as we have 250 students in our program. So it's how do you see, not everyone's going to just jump out to be the chapter president. And so what I found is we want to take it away from this centralized leadership team of, we still have officers, but we want to create leadership opportunities for students that want to get involved. So whether it's, I had a student that was really interested in plant science. He came from a farming background, but he needed, he had the potential to be a leader. He just needed an instance to practice it. So committee work is key in having, providing those opportunities. It's very structured. It's safe. If you fail, we're here to help you. We'll get it figured out, but this is a way for you to practice, and you're working with another group of students that are interested in the same thing. So we've structured, obviously, kind of model the National FFA divisions and quality standards, but we work with our students like, hey, you did a really good job in this section in plant science. Do you want to participate or be the committee chair for Prairie Learning Farm and plan out the test plot? So then we integrated that role into his class final, and he planned out like what pumpkin varieties we were planting, where they were planting them, when we needed to do it, like the timeline, and all of the components of the course final he did as our like program and like committee chair. And then it was fun to see like him actually complete it then. So I would say and he's definitely not like the top student by any means, but he was capable of doing it and he had an interest in it. So seeking that, asking, and then having an opportunity for them to show it. Later, I did have the same discussion with him though. There's, for a student's perspective, that even if you don't believe in yourself and someone is asking you to take advantage of an opportunity, you need to do it. Mainly because if you say no too many times, they're going to stop asking. And I'm getting to that point of, I see potential, I want students to do it, but if they keep saying no, I'm going to ask another one that could have that opportunity. So it's twofold in that side. Your advisors can see it, but you also still have to take advantage of it as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's so funny. I got to go back to FFA convention in 2024 as a content creator. And I remember just thinking, because it had been a decade since I went as a student, and I was just sitting there like, oh my gosh, these kids don't realize all the opportunities that are in front of them right now. Like there's literally every major ag company right here, right now, that's just begging for a teenager to give a dang and ask for a scholarship, ask for an internship, ask for something. And these kids are just worried about a foam bean. And you're just like, oh. So I can imagine being the instructor, like being the advisor, just being like, listen, I'm telling you this because I love you. You have potential. Please take it, because there's so many opportunities you don't even realize right now.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely. I remember being that kid running around the convention hall wanting the new sweater, and I should have been in the expo center talking to colleges or industries and people that might have a career for me after I get out of college. And if you take one thing away from this episode, anyone that's listening, take some advice and take advantage of those opportunities and look forward. As you're looking forward in your teaching career, what legacy do you hope to leave, Miss Laura, while we round out your episode? I know you come from a long line of teachers, and FFA has truly benefited you and molded you into who you are today. What do you want your legacy to be?
I really, truly hope that students come back and remember that they had a home here in the Ag Building and that we did everything that we could to provide them an experience that they can use in their life, whether it's learning how to process a chicken or to grow a garden or how to like speak with someone properly and introduce themselves and hold a conversation. I hope they have a memory of their time here in the ag program and that it was a positive experience for them.
Yes, my FFA experience was also extremely positive, and I look back and I wish like I could still tell my advisor thank you, because I know I didn't say it enough in high school. So thank you so much for all you do for your students. Thank you for coming on the show today. I loved learning about the backside of the ag classroom, especially coming from a student standpoint, and knowing that your impact can only grow and become that much greater. As far as our listeners, keep listening in and subscribe to the podcast. We can't wait to see you next week.